I'm Margaret Ann Windsor. I was kidnapped in 1941 at age 2. And if you care to see the material I've laid out over the last, well, since 2012, Facebook, and then 2013 on YouTube. And I have done the videos 3, 4, 5 a day, almost every day since. So it's all up here. I wrote about mind control murders. The book I wrote was A License to Kill. Well, MD, A License to Kill. So I'm not going to go any further other than say, because you can, if you care, you can go back and look through any of my videos. I got a letter from the FBI, ongoing investigation, national security involved, issued through U.S. Attorney William Harper of Atlanta. Oh, I was almost killed April Fool Day of 80, taken across the state line illegally. It was odd when they were taking me in the condition I was in. I said, "You're kidnapping me, you know," and I could hardly talk. Well, I passed a background check a month and a half later, and went to work for Fred Simpson, the district attorney, Madison County, Huntsville, Alabama, the Space Center. And I'm just going to leave it at there. I was in such a condition, I don't know how it worked at all. And I wasn't supposed to talk about anything that had happened to me. I found out later about my kidnapping. My father's Edward VIII, and he was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, an American. She was Queen of England 1936 when my father became king. He abdicated because of character assassination, lies, untruths, and there's a question about that. But anyway, in the so-called abdication, he meant to return. It said that if he had an heir, the heir would inherit. And this was legal. It went through channels. So he must have forced abdication, so it would be illegal anyway. But the addendum was legal. And the day I was born Victoria II, heir to the British Crown. So all your treaties, all your other stuff that illegal George VI, who takes orders from the Illuminati, that then turned around and kidnapped me with JFK, and his father was ambassador to England, appointed by 36 till they kicked him out in 46. So anyway, Roosevelt's a Jew, the president. Rockefeller's Rothschilds that control your banking, Bilderbergers, Jews. So somebody told me here some years ago, her husband, Carol Rogers Simon, her ex-husband, was a psychiatrist in Seattle. What's she doing down here living in a HUD, a low income? She told me, she said, "You're paying for the crimes that your family committed." Well, I'm allergic to chemicals. I have an autoimmune disorder, and I'm looking pretty bad now because I've had to suck up a bunch of them. I normally I should live a normal life, but it's how I've had to live, and a pauper and exposed to the fumes deliberately and run from place to place. So I put all this up. And I look pretty bad right now. It's gotten my immune system so low. And anyway, now then, the reason for putting this up, and I don't, if people listen to it, there's a few, the media all know it. The real reason they won't tell it is because these murders, mind control murders, were done in patterns. And it really, there's a timeline on it all. The Parkland, they're making all this about. I mean, there's been these shootings before, and I've gone on and told it. The media will not touch it. The locals all know it. The media, per se, knew about my father way back then, about taking him down. They're part of it, the Illuminati. Controlled, just like Trump says. He doesn't say controlled by the Illuminati, but it doesn't take a great brain to follow it. You got the UN, United Nations, which is your front for the Illuminati, that happened after they kidnapped me and took down my father. The Americans went in and took over, saying they were friends, and they put military bases all under the UK and all over the world now. You're all over everything. And then you've kidnapped me. You have an Area 51 in Australia, plus God knows what else. So everything has come under the UN, which all the treaties are illegal that allowed this to happen because they took out my father illegally, and I'm the monarch, and they kidnapped me, and they're going against Trump, saying he consorted with the Russians and tried to rig the elections. And can you believe, if finally the truth's told, you got the real monarch sitting here, the crimes committed against me and the ones I'm trying to tell you about. Now I'm going to go to this. I've watched the young people from Parkland, and this should end it, because Parkland is like a clue or code word to Parkland in Dallas, where they took John Kennedy when he was shot in '63. And JFK actually himself helped in my kidnapping personally, and brought me to Moulton, Alabama, where they gave me the name of a twin, Peggy, who the twins were killed by their mother, Lina. And I'm listening to the youngsters. This could have been done at any point in Atlanta, in Huntsville, here all these years. I came here and my mom and dad were still married and alive. My God, their name was stolen in October of '86. And I guess I better quit now. I'm so tired, and I've watched all this on TV. Anyone could have marched, and they wouldn't. In fact, people told me that so many people have said, well, I don't care. I don't want to hear you. I've been told that they knew that it was all true, that they and their children were going to live the good life as long as they could, and that was it. To hell with me. So where these children have got the media's attention, you have to wonder about that. The media is controlled by the Illuminati, and the thing is for total control, and that's taking your guns out, all the security on your airplanes, where your marshal could come out shooting. He's supposed to protect you. I'm listening to them, the children and their parents. They're talking about putting special police, and even here around Roanoke, allocating money to put a policeman in every school. This is exactly what they want. Mind control has nothing to do with mental illness. These people have been programmed to shoot. You can kill with a knife. You're not going to stop anything by gun control. You're just giving away every right you have. So anyway, the fathers, maybe if I had gotten a little empathy along the way, other than called every name in the book and crimes that you really don't want to know and hear about. I saw them crying, this one father especially, yesterday on the media when they were talking. I think they'd gone to the capital of Florida, and some went to the president. But he was emotional, as anyone would be, and people were so sad for him because his daughter was dead, one of the students at Parkland. They were saying, they were admitting how much pain he had to be in, and all the people, their families. They have never, I don't know anyone really who said, I know you must hurt because your sons are not, you don't know where they are, if they're alive or dead. They didn't want to hear the suffering I went through. So I've been slapped in the face. That word doesn't even come close. But called every name in the book. And I wonder if, because this could all be covered up now, and the truth of it being mind control and the global government about me, about who I am and what the Americans did, to my parents and my country and my children most of all, my mom and dad most of all, and the Brits that helped me most of all, and those that helped me. So I'll stop there. It kind of gets me to watch the praise and all this that's going on right now. And the kids' intent may be a good thing or not, because they're at the wrong weapon. It's not the guns, it's mind control. So I don't know. They're talking about the school shooting here, the NRA, and I'm going to stop with this one. And mental health had nothing to do with this. This is programming. So when they're bringing in the mental health and calling these people crazy, it's the most absurd thing. And I so want this told, the truth, right in all their faces. To blame mental health, people who are mentally ill, is a horrible thing to blame this on them. It's also a horrible thing to blame it on this programmed person. James Holmes was programmed, and that one can be proved. So many of these were done in patterns deliberately because mind control is invisible. You can prove it. So James Holmes was put in a mental hospital. I don't know if he's still there. You have to stop the program. And it has nothing to do with mental illness. They've been programmed for a long time now. MK Ultra was programming long before 1953 when they were called before Congress and given a slap on the wrist. And your congressman, after all, they need put under investigation. And the Tesla files I told about, you can create an illness or cure it. Way back then, with mind control, it was stolen, the Tesla files. You can program people in mass now with mind control and blame it on mental illness. So now then, they've made it so easy in Florida to go out and just pick. If somebody decides that they don't like it, can be political, they can say, well, they were acting this. You bypass the court system, which is not all that great anyway. If you want the truth, if you get it finally, I don't know if you want it or not. Nobody else did. The media all around here knew it. They knew about my kidnapping, about my dad before I was kidnapped. So by the Illuminati, they worked for them. So I've said that enough. And they're going to go up here and play right into their hands, take the guns away, and the children, their intentions are good. The people that have known about me could have all formed and gotten together rather than trying to run me out of town and let me freeze on the Appalachian Trail and all the crimes that were committed against me. I'm British, you know. To hell with me. We took the Brits down a long time ago is what they say. One of them said to me, and at the time I didn't know about being kidnapped. I was back in 80 when I was almost killed. I was living at Warren House Apartments. Warren is a code word for the Warren Commission. It covered up the JFK shooting. Parkland in Florida is a code word for Parkland Hospital where JFK was taken when he was shot. He helped kidnap me. And right now they're showing Bobby. The Kennedys. I hope you get to hear and see the Kennedys. There's so much I can't put up here that happened. So I'm going to go. I'm tired, and I'm probably babbling right at the moment. And who wouldn't? Because if you walked in my shoes for 1 minute, you couldn't.